bum, bum, bum. There we are. Okay. Now we run over to Facebook real fast and do the share. This is the boring part if you're watching us live or watching later. Yeah. For those of you just joining us, this is Technorama Podcast, and we are going to start the official show in moments. How many moments is a moment? Well, as soon as I hit share and click share now. There, that's a moment. You ready?
Hold on, I'm trying to spell extravaganza.
Good luck.
I did it. That was my Wordle day word of the day.
Extravaganza is not a Wordle word. A little more than 6 characters there, buddy.
Yeah.
Not the way I spell it.
Yeah. Try spelling it like I do.
All right. Should we use the intro video or should we just do our intro thing?
Let's just go for it. We'll experiment with that later.
Okay. Here we go. First, let me do an audio check. There we go. Audio's working fine. And here we go with the regular show. I got to get to the top of the show notes because I need to remember what number it is. I know what day this is for. Let's go for this. Check. Craig, give me a check.
No, I'm keeping my checks.
Good for you.
Yeah. I know a scam when I see it.
Rice checks, wheat checks, corn checks. He's making checks mix.
Yeah, I see a scam when I see it.
Uh-huh.
Wait, what? I know a scam when I see it. There you go.
I am a scam. If there's a way to make a buck, I'll find it. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 792 for December 31st, 2025. And I forgot the title of the show is Firmware Update 2026, patched, rebooted, and ready.
There you go.
If it came out on December 31st, is it a -1 day? Not a 0-day patch?
Almost half a day, probably, by the time it comes
Depends
out.
what time zone you're in and when it drops.
Right.
Play that game.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek, as we've been saying for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Chuck Tomasi, as I've been saying for over 60 years.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is Craig Stepp, just to my leftoid, or you'd see him on the right of the screen.
That's right.
How are you doing, Craig?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm enjoying all the train videos we're sharing back and forth.
Yeah. You shared one with me when you went to where?
It was the Asheville Arboretum, and we went there for Christmas lights walk through the park. And they have a train going through. One of them was the Polar Express, and another, I'm not sure what the other train was, but I think that's the one I sent you. But they have a whole train set up there.
And then I went to a Christmas party today at some friend's house from church. And this guy has half of his basement dedicated to 3 alcoves and like an aisle that sort of flanks perpendicular to the 3 alcoves. And it is just trains, mountains, tunnels, trains.
That's right.
Orchards. There's an orchard. I keep joking to him because every Christmas is when the oranges and lemons and grapefruits usually come into season around here. It's also when we go to their party, and he's got a little orchard set up down there with probably 50 trees and all these little orange dots on the ground and in the trees. I say, Ron, you got a great crop of oranges, but you're gonna have to harvest them soon.
Yeah, they've been there for years. Actually, there's an I don't know if I've got video of it, but I do have some pictures. Downtown Hendersonville, there's a it's almost like a train museum. It used to be a train depot.
Yeah.
And inside is like kind of like the video you shared. There's like 3 or 4 rooms where the trains all go through there, and there's buildings and mountains and houses. Some of the buildings have people like dancing like a little square dance. One of them was
there's
you can see some buildings
and it just
one of them was a TV repair shop, and you can see the TV flickering in the window.
Wow.
One of them was as a house on fire or a building on fire, and they have like cotton smoke coming out, and it's flickering orange at the bottom. It looks pretty good. There's fire trucks and stuff.
Mike Robinson says, "Happy Yarpmas." I say, "Happy New Yarp" to you.
That's right. So I may have to. I'll have to send you a few of those pictures.
It's amazing. I always go down to his basement and say, "Well, everybody's got to have a hobby."
Yeah.
And
Hey,
this is ours. This is ours.
hey,
Doing podcasts for over 20 years.
by the way, this is slightly colorful, but I'll share it. When we were in there last time, there was this guy. He was a younger guy, but he works there, and he loves making the trains and the scenery. And he said, "What's your favorite part of the scenery here?" And he goes, "Oh, look over here." And there's like a wooden tower, almost like a water tower kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a wooden tower, and on the top of it, he said, "Look really close." And there's a couple of people up there, and you see one of the women at the top. She's got her shirt pulled up. Yeah, but we were all looking really close and went, "Oh, okay." That's
That's
pretty
why
funny.
it's his favorite part.
That was funny.
All right, let's get on. We got a lot of stuff in this show tonight, so
Yes, we do.
let us
Hey,
move
we
on.
got to wrap
Yes,
up the year, so
we
yeah.
do have to wrap up the year and start the new one. So
We
we'll
need to
start
hurry
with some
before we get rebooted.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters.
Letters every day.
It's the part where we tell you what you told us.
That's right.
Reach right in and pull one out. Oh, letters. I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy.
Mailman. Mail today.
Kathy Spurgeon Lucas out there. Wow, we haven't heard from her in a while. Hope you're doing well. And your son, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to
Yes.
you too.
Happy.
Hey,
New Year.
Question of the week for you last time was, what's one nerdy thing you want to accomplish in 2026? Such as tackle a project, learn something new, read or reread a series. You get the idea.
Hmm.
Lone Guys Night says, code my own stock ticker. That sounds fun.
Yeah, actually, it would be. I got we talked about it before, but I got one of those little else e-paper panels that sits on the wall,
Yeah.
and it has a stock ticker on it, and it's okay. But I wish it would. I wanted a little more detail, so I may have to dig into that myself. Yeah.
Clinton
Make-
says, get serious about taking time each day to practice and actually learn how to play the piano.
Oh,
It's all about practice, my friend. I
and
can tell you
Clinton
that.
is a musical kind of guy, so
I get that. Yeah.
yeah, so I could see that happening. And so if you go check out Clinton's show, Comedy Forecast, you can hear a lot of his music in there because I think he said all of the music he's ever used in there was
he is.
his own, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. So
Yep. Comedy Forecast, all one word with the number 4.
that's right. Let's stop here
And
for now.
also from Facebook, John Kratzer says, learn Docker. I would love to do that as well. I just haven't gotten to Docker or containers. I know some really good resources, some people that I could go to that could give me the skinny on that once I bone up on it. But the
That's
only
on my
thing
list as well.
The only thing I've done with Docker so far is usually follow the instructions from somebody else, like how to install this,
Yeah.
download this Docker container, run this command. There
Right.
you go. Like my
That's right.
NTFS server is running in Docker, but I don't understand. It's an imitation kind of thing at this point, which doesn't qualify as understanding.
Right. No, I do want to learn it as well. There's a couple of things I want to try and build into a Docker container and run it. And
Right.
even on my NAS, I installed a couple of um, Docker containers, and I got them to work, but I won't say I completely understood behind the scenes because there was you have to do the networking and to make it available, and that was a little tricky. It's hard to figure out.
Kathy came back and said, I'm doing well. Getting ready to move back to Illinois in a few weeks in a major panic mode. My son went to Milwaukee for college. Craig, we're getting old.
Yeah,
No,
right.
we are old and
Yeah.
is still there and doing well also. Thank
Wow.
you for the update, Kathy.
Oh,
We
good.
appreciate that. Okay, turning to our Discord server, chuckchat.com/Discord. Humanoid says, I've been planning to do a 10 Star Wars movies marathon for a while by watching all 9 episodes in order with Rogue One between 3 and 4. That was a lot easier to plan for when there were only 3 episodes to watch. I agree. One of my earliest memories when Julie was just a baby was her falling asleep on me in the easy chair watching episodes 4, 5, 6. Like, yay, we made a marathon. I said, this should be an annual tradition.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Start them out early.
Yeah.
Tom Key says, reread Hail Mary before the movie comes out. Maybe even rewatch The Martian.
Yeah, you should, because I just read it and it was perfect timing because I was obsessed with it there for a while. Trying to get through it. I loved it.
And Sweet Steve says, I'm planning to scratch build a book nook with forced perspective. Get better at Python and finalize my Raspberry Pi Control autonomous RC car. Need to rewrite the server code for that car so that I can mount multi-directional wheels on it. Oh, that'd be cool.
Mm.
Oh,
Almost
man.
like one of those forklifts that has the wheels that can go let it go side to side.
Right. And we used to help out with the robot competition like back in 2006, 2007. I did some Technorama coverage with those. The wheels look like normal wheels, but instead of treads, they've kind of got helical, like diagonal cylinders on them, which
Mhm.
lets you go forward, sideways, backwards without even changing the orientation of the vehicle. It can still be pointed, due north, but be moving east,
Yeah.
so to speak. So kind of cool stuff.
That is cool.
Fritz has a list of things. He says, replace my venerable HP Gen 8 microserver with the 19-inch Super Microserver with more RAM and a 19-inch enclosure for more 3.5-inch hard drives. I'm running out of storage space. Next steps, expand the server into full Blieb home control center. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. BLIEB? Or maybe it's a typo, who knows? To do this, I connect with the PV system, the heat pump, the central ventilation system, controlled residential ventilation, record electricity consumption in order to intelligently control the wall box in the garage, and collect data and determining the optimal size and capacity of the future battery storage system. These are bullet items here, by the way. Integrate the smoke detectors more effectively. Measure temperature and humidity in various rooms. Bring the garage door into the smart home system. Control the lighting. Install a water leak detector and integrate it into the system. Monitor the power supply and status of the 2 UPS units in order to automatically shut down my computers. Set up a DNS server so that the local devices do not always have to be addressed by IP address.
Right.
Enough work to last for 2026, if I'm honest, and everything goes according to plan.
You'll just be able to point AI to all those things and just let
Right.
it do
AI, set up my DNS server.
it.
No, setting up a DNS server is really good exercise if you haven't ever done that before.
Mhm.
Just
I've
to
done it
understand
before.
about A records and C names and zones and
Well, there's
subnet
several
masking.
record types that
Yep.
I've never messed with. There's a couple of them, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that existed. But yeah,
There's some depth to that thing. Yeah.
hey, but it's like building your own lightsaber to become a Jedi. You need to set up your own DNS with like a text editor, not like a GUI or anything. Do it by hand, so you can remember to hit the periods in the right place all the time. Because if you
Is,
don't have
is
the period,
DNS the kyber crystal of your network? I mean, where were you going with that analogy? I kind of missed it.
to become a full fledged geek, you have to build your own DNS server. That's what.
Oh, okay. I thought you had to build your own enterprise, but that's a different story for another time.
Yeah.
We also have an email from Avner. I'm going to read it because it went into a thread, but he visited the Hoover Dam and sent a picture and said,
Yes.
thinking of you, because we did that back in 2008 and sent some pictures. And I said, hey, is Charlie Harrington there anymore? He goes, I don't know. What do he look like? So I dug through our archives and said, here's a picture.
Yeah.
What do you remember him looking like? Because my mind totally painted a different picture. And then I went to the
Oh.
pictures and went,
I
that ain't what I remember.
Oh, it is remember because I've seen him. I see the pictures from time to time because
Oh, okay.
Google's
Okay.
always like, "Hey, remember this memory?"
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was a tall guy.
Somehow I had a beard in there. Like, I look at the picture. You didn't have a
He had
beard.
a beard. No,
You didn't have a beard.
yeah,
Okay. But yeah, he said he didn't run into him specifically, but
he was a good sport.
Correct.
Us, being a couple idiots with our wives walking around in the tunnels.
yeah. Couple
Actually, you know what? I don't know about you. One of my favorite things that we did then, not just walking through the tunnels, and seeing like where people were circling the cracks and dating them.
yes.
But my favorite thing was when we went to the spill off tunnels, and you could put your hand right through the louvers. You can see them from the outside,
Yep.
which is kind of amazing. So I just thought that was cool, realizing hey exactly where we were in the
Yeah.
structure. So
Right in that little square, right way down there.
actually, I take that back. The second thing was when you took the picture for the the Swedish motorcycle gang or wherever they're from.
Still one of my favorite stories. Yes. So in case you haven't heard it or haven't heard it in a while, we were on the Arizona side of the dam and taking a picture, looking back at the intakes and the dam on over the lake, not on the deep, shallow side where the water comes out, but where the water goes in.
Mhm.
And we had taken a few shots, and all of a sudden we hear this rumble, and a whole bunch of motorcycles roll up.
Wait a minute, a few photo shots, not shots.
Right. And that's like going into the zoo and say, "Is it okay to shoot giraffe here?"
Right.
And about 30 people get off their motorcycles, and being nice like we were, we said, "Hey, where are you from?" And they said, "Sweden." I said, well, you rode your motorcycles from Sweden?
Yeah.
That's impressive. I
Yeah.
said, no. We're on a cross-country trip running along basically Route 66. So they're going from California to Chicago. I said, "Oh, well, okay." And they were trying to do the typical group photo thing, but somebody's always not in the photo because they have to be the photographer.
Right.
So I said, "Well, why don't you let me take your picture?" And before I knew it, everybody handed me their camera. And I've got about 17 cameras hanging off of my arms. And some of them are cameras, some of them are phones. Remember, this is back in 2008. So imagine as you will. And I pick up the first one, trying to balance the rest of them. And I said, "How do you say smile in Swedish?" And all in unison, every single person said, "Cheese."
Yeah.
I
We
laughed so hard I nearly dropped every
I know,
camera.
we about fell off and fell around the
Could not
parking lot.
stop laughing.
That was pretty good.
That was a classic memory.
Yeah.
On this day in Technorama history years ago.
Yeah.
All
that
right,
was
speaking of which, it's time to do our history thing.
All right.
What do you say we get started with that?
Good.
Where's my volume control for this channel? There we go. I know I didn't play the outro music for the feedback, but that's okay. On this day in history for December 31st, 2025, no math required here. It's the 365th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are no more days remaining in 2025.
0 days left.
I don't think we've ever done an episode on December 31st.
Yeah. Maybe one. I don't know. Maybe.
It was on this date in 1759 that Arthur Guinness signed a 9,000-year lease at 45 pounds per annum and started brewing Guinness. Yes, the beer.
Wow. Yeah.
9,000 years.
He's got like 8,500 left. All right. So 181 years ago today, Chuck gave me the longest one here.
Yep.
181 years ago today, the Philippines skipped this date in order to align the country with the rest of Asia as the trading interests switched from China, Dutch Indies, the Dutch East Indies, and neighboring territories after Mexico gained independence from Spain on September 27th, 1821. The islands, Monday, 30th December 1844, was immediately followed by Wednesday, the 1st, January 1845.
That happens when you fly from LA to Sydney, too. You miss that day.
Yeah. Time travel.
December 3rd. I think that was the longest one we've ever had on this show. There you
Yeah.
go.
It is.
December 31st, 1853, a dinner party was held inside a life-size model of an iguanodon
Wow.
created by Benjamin Waterhouse Hawkins and Sir Richard Owen in South London, England. Try the iguanodon. It's here till Thursday.
Tastes like chicken.
Yep.
All right. It was on this date in 1878 that Carl Benz, working in Mannheim, Germany, filed for a patent on his first reliable two-stroke gas engine. He was granted the patent in 1879.
I like that. Reliable, too. So the others were totally unreliable.
Yeah, throw this one out.
Boom.
As the patent says, clearly says unreliable. How do you do that?
In other invention news, Thomas Edison demonstrated incandescent lighting to the public for the first time in Menlo Park, New Jersey, on this date in 1879.
It was his bright idea.
Ding.
General Motors, in 1907, the first ever ball drop was held in Times Square, and the guy picked it up and left.
He shoots for 2 points.
Yeah.
General Motors became the first U.S. corporation to make over $1 billion a U.S.
Wait, you gotta put the pinky
in
up.
a year on this date in 1955.
Yeah, you need the pinky on your smile when you say that. All right, so December 31st, 1956, the Romanian television network began its first broadcast in Bucharest.
57 years ago today was the first flight of the Tupolev Tu-144, the first civilian supersonic transport in the world.
And also today in 1983, the AT&T Bell system was broken up by the United States government and they never called again.
If it weren't for that, I may not have the career I had.
That's right.
There's a story in there about pay telephones. December 31st, 1991, all official Soviet Union institutions had ceased operations by this date, 5 days after the Soviet Union was officially dissolved. Someone better tell Putin.
No
He
kid.
still thinks it's around.
That's right. That same date in 1994, this date was skipped altogether by Kiribati and as the Phoenix Islands and Line Islands changed time zones from UTC minus 11 to UTC plus 1300 and UTC minus 10 to UTC plus 14 respectively.
Doesn't that seem weird? How you can go more than halfway around the world as a UTC plus 14? What?
Yeah.
You know, when you're following the little international date line and it makes the jog for the Aleutian Islands, you go down a little further and there's kind of like that hook.
It screwed up everybody's circadian rhythms.
That's where it is. It's in that hook.
Yeah.
The final comic of Calvin and Hobbes was published on this date in 1995, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And on December 31st, 2009, both a blue moon and a lunar eclipse occurred.
It was on this date in 2011 that NASA succeeded in putting the first two gravity recovery and interior laboratory satellites in orbit around the moon.
What happened to him?
Oh,
I don't know. And it was also 5 years ago today that the World Health Organization issued its first emergency use validation for COVID-19 vaccine. Such a long time ago.
5 years ago. Seems
I
like
almost forgot about
yesterday.
it. I almost forgot about it, Chuck.
I'm trying to forget about it. I forgot everything else. Why
Yeah.
not? Happy birthday goes out of this date too. French navigator and explorer Jacques Cartier, born on this date in 1491.
And George Meade, the American general and engineer, was born 210 years ago today.
Born December 31st, 1860, American businessman, co-founder of Texaco, Joseph S. Texaco. No,
Yeah.
Joseph A. Cullinan.
And Robert Grant Aiken, the American astronomer and academic, was born 161 years ago today.
Uh-oh, we ran out of music.
Let's finish it out. We got 3 lines.
Born December 31st, 1905, American astronomer and academic Helen Dodson Prince.
And New Zealand mathematician and academic Vaughan Jones, born on this date in 1952.
Val Kilmer, American actor, was born on this date in 1959. Few birthdays. December 31st is Shadowbird's mom and Mr. Sim, and January 3rd is Thomas Gideon, and the 6th is Steve Therian. He hangs out in our Discord server. Pretty sure. That's the way it was on this day in history for December 31st, 2025. If you want to get your name on the birthday calendar, it's real easy. You go over to chuckchat.com/birthday, fill out the form. We check it out. We put it on the right day in the year and give you a shout out. We'll also throw it on the Discord server. So sometime the evening before, whenever Santa's flying over, I don't know, Ecuador, the server will make an announcement and say happy birthday to you. So we wish you all the best if you want to get announced there as well. chuckchat.com/birthday, even though it's not on the screen.
Oh, wait a minute.
We're gonna have to put little cues in the show notes. It says put up this title here.
Actually, I thought I had him in there at one point. Maybe I don't anymore.
Oh, all right. Let's get on with the news.
You got to read it again.
Weather, everyone.
All right, we're a little closer to warp drive, faster than light travel, Craig.
Wow.
Kind of amazing.
It is kind of amazing.
Actually, this isn't new because back in 1994, there was a theory by, and I'll do my best with this name, Miguel Alcubierre.
Sounds
He
good.
introduced what is now known as the Alcubierre drive. But it required exotic materials like negative matter. I know that some people have a negative attitude, and it doesn't matter to me.
Hey, could you imagine being the captain of that ship and saying, Scotty, we need to get to Alcaberry 6. You mean the planet or the speed?
No, no, no. So what they've discovered so far is a new the Advanced Propulsion Laboratory at Applied Physics published in a peer-reviewed journal, which means it's not just some crackpot on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Classical and quantum gravity. In the report, the APL team presents what could be the first physically realistic warp drive, one that doesn't rely on negative energy, the elusive ingredient that has long made faster than light travel seem impossible. The study itself is heavily technical, which means we won't understand it on this show. But the main idea is simple. Rather than trying to push a spaceship through space with impossible energy, this model moves space-time inside of, get this, floating bubbles. Sound like
Really?
warp bubbles on Star
Mhm.
Trek? These bubbles can be shaped and manipulated in ways that dramatically reduce the need for exotic matter. According to the researchers, this isn't the only possible method for warp travel, but it is the first to be grounded in physics we can understand. Well, outside of this podcast, making a long imagined dream feel more tangible. In fact, even Miguel A., the physicist behind the original warp drive concept, has given his thumbs up.
Well, there also is another way. Astrophage.
What?
Wow. That's right. You didn't read the book, so you didn't know.
No, you can't take science fiction and call it fact.
Yes, you can. You might be wrong, but yes, you can.
You can, but yeah, you will. More than likely, you will be wrong. Eventually, you might be proven right.
Yeah.
All right. You know that 30 years ago, we were just discovering the first exoplanet, 1995.
Yep.
And now, as 2025 comes to a close, they say, guess what? We've now discovered more than 6,000, with several thousand more awaiting confirmation.
It's amazing.
That's a lot of planets. Well, they also found a very interesting one. They're calling it Tatooine-like. Because it's
When I saw that, I was like, come on.
It's orbiting a binary star, which
Mhm.
is very common. Binary stars and even trinary stars are very common in the galaxy. Only this one doesn't orbit on the same plane as the stars. It's going perpendicular. So imagine these two suns, two stars going roundy, kind of in this almost figure eight pattern.
Tucson's is near you.
And then take the long axis, like an up and down axis, and stick a planet out there.
Right.
That would be interesting. I'm really trying to wrap my head around any configuration of a binary or trinary star system where life could exist, because it seems like it'd be such a strange pattern of light and day,
Right.
depending on how often the planet revolves and rotates. How life could even get started in a system like that. But hey, we've seen crazier things out in space.
Well, Luke and Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen did it.
Yeah, and look how Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen turned out. Well done. Well done.
They were toast. They forgot to put their sunscreen on.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Which brings to mind, where did they come from?
Where did what come from?
Are they related to Anakin? Because they're probably not related to Padme.
No,
It's
they kinda-
Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Oh my gosh, you have forgotten about the prequels already?
No, I didn't.
Not Uncle Owen, but Lars ended up he fell in love with Anakin's mom, and so they're not really related. But I think I'm trying to remember if they said they married.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be a stepfather.
So who's Beru?
I don't know, some woman that that.
So it's not really his aunt and uncle.
No, it's not really his
It's
aunt. and
just
uncle.
some other couple that
He
this
grew up,
dude married
Luke
his
grew up
mom.
there, so he was
It's
told
more
that
like
was his aunt and uncle.
stepdad and stepdad's second wife.
Yeah, so Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So
So
you would think
you wouldn't know.
if if you were looking for your lost children, you'd start with family first? Seems like a major
I
oversight.
think somebody needs to go talk to old Ben.
You mean old Ben Kenobi?
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
We'll get into that later. All right. Next article.
Yeah.
That is submarine made an incredible discovery underneath the Antarctic ice before going missing. So I knew they were doing some submarine exploration down there. I
Mhm.
did not know what they were doing, but they're looking at climate change, global warming, rising sea levels, and they noticed on the eastern side, let's see if I get this right. Was it the eastern side that was melting faster than the western side? And they said, "Why is
Um,
that? That's weird."
no, the eastern side
Was
was
melting
melting
more slowly.
slowly. Yeah.
Okay. So on a 2022 mission, RAN, which is the submarine, somewhat autonomous because it can go off and it ran itself and then it comes back underneath the Dotson ice shelf, aiming to uncover why the eastern side is melting slowly while the western side was rapidly thawing. And what was the answer in here? I read it and I went, okay. After mapping 54 square miles of ice, RAN revealed flat plateaus, pits, and terrace steps to the researchers, all resulting from basal melt, where the ice melts from below the surface. It ran
Did it have
14
to do
missions.
maybe
Yeah.
I'm thinking of another story, but the winds there come from the same direction all of the time.
The circumpolar
Yeah.
winds and currents go around and round. It's really a nasty place to try and sail a boat.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I wonder if that has something to do with it because it's getting hit by on one side more than the other.
Mm. Sort of like when you get sunburned arms sticking your arm out the window as you drive down the road.
Yeah, that's it.
we try to simple things down. We asked AI to explain it like I was a 5-year-old, and that was still too complex.
Right.
All right, into the hacks and strange stories. Is it true that there are 2 places on Earth where you can walk directly on the mantle? When I saw this title, I went,
believe
"Wow,
there
that
is.
would be kinda hot."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe there is. There is a
You're
couple
not
of them.
walking on the molten mantle, and I had to read this carefully because when you think, well, isn't all the lava that comes up from volcanoes mantle?
I think it's cooled and it what they're talking about, and they have like dirt and everything else on top of it.
It's a
So
little different than that,
so,
though.
yeah.
It's sort of where continents collide, usually you have some subduction. So one plate
Mhm.
is going under another, or one, if you want to think
Ab
about it, one is going over another.
Mhm.
And what happened here is it's almost like they split open and this huge chunk of mantle just rose up. It didn't really erupt. It was just sort of
Pushed up.
there in the
Yeah.
absence of crust.
Mhm.
And that's what cooled. And they're saying there's one on what's the name of the island? Macquarie
Macquarie.
Island.
Yeah, Macquarie Island.
Macquarie Island down in Australia's sub-Antarctic, which is not easy to get to if you're not a scientific kind of person, because they only allow 2,000 tourists there a year because it is protected. It's been registered on the World Heritage as a World Heritage Site, um, because once upon a time when people were out hunting seals and furs and whatnot,
Mhm.
cats, dogs, rabbits got on this land and pretty much wiped out everything else. So they did this massive cleanup project, and a lot of the species are coming back, and they're saying, let's not do that again.
Yeah.
So Macquarie Island is one of those places. The other is in Newfoundland, if I remember right. Gross Mourne National Park Tablelands
That's right. And
is another one. So
Mhm.
if you want to see mantle rock cooled, where you can walk on the mantle, and these are the 2 best known, we won't say they're the only known, but they're the only ones so far that you can walk directly on the Earth's mantle.
Yeah.
Of course, it's been cooled. Do not walk on the hot molten part. You
No.
will become a human s'more
It's like
unless you want to meet Pele the lava goddess up close and personal.
I actually, I think you just made me think of there was a time when we were in, or Kim and my son and my mother-in-law, they were in California, and Palm Springs, and it was so hot. Harrison was walking across the concrete with sandals on,
Yeah.
and the soles started to melt and leave marks on the concrete.
Yikes.
Yeah, I was like, "Run faster!" Yeah,
You got to hold one up like the chameleon. To cool it
yeah,
off.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's kind of scary, isn't it?
Quick shout out to the chat room. We do the show Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern time. We'd love to see you there. We've had Mike and Kathy around. I see a few other people that keep popping in and out. Thank you very much for watching. If you want, give us a shout in the chat. We'll give you a shout out back. And if you just want to lurk out there in the fringes just off the stage lights, that's okay too. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Want to join in the chat anytime. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. That's most of the time. That's usually what elicits
That's what the
best
listeners are here
responses.
for.
Yeah. You guys are full of crack.
Yeah.
Speaking of cracks, well, rhymes with cracks, it's tracks. There's a site in Bolivia where they discovered more than 16,000 dinosaur tracks crisscrossing around this. This is pretty darn cool.
Hey. It was like a regular dinosaur highway.
And I would say dinosaur dance party.
Dance party. Dum, dum, dum. Yeah.
Right. Do the Cretaceous dance. The
Cretaceous period dance.
the Cretaceous. Well, it says the tracks were made about 70 million years ago in the Cretaceous period by the theropods. Woo! Good band name, theropods.
Yeah. That's right.
They've also got, what do they call them? Swim traces. They form when floating or swimming animals briefly touch the bottom, often when their toes make contact. Now, here's the other cool thing that I discovered in this. It was along a beach, and they said the predators generally walk parallel to the shoreline. So they're sort of patrolling. Think of like a water hole out in the Serengeti or wherever.
Yeah.
Your lions are going to walk around in circles, and the beach will generally have trees right up pretty close to the beach. So if you are prey, you don't want to be strolling around on the beach
Out in the
when
open.
there's, a predator out there ready to eat you. You go as you find the place that has the least beach to traverse, you run out, you get your drink, and you come back. So the predators, they know which are the predators' tracks and which are the prey tracks by the direction they're going.
Right.
That's pretty. Now,
That is
they
interesting.
said that's a generalization based on animal behavior today, but it's plausible that that's the way the animals behaved back then too. So they said it's also difficult to identify which animals made these tracks because the conditions for preserving tracks are much different than the conditions for preserving bones. So,
Well, also keep in mind they've been sitting around out in the weather for all this time, so imagine it's kind of hard.
but pretty cool stuff. Always fun to discover new things. I did see some dinosaur tracks when we were up in Wyoming last March. That was pretty cool.
We saw some when we went to Philmont in New Mexico. They had at Philmont they had a thing where it was a cage where you can't just go mess with it, but they had a dinosaur footprint inside the thing so you could look at it. Pretty cool.
No, we could actually walk down and stand. No, wait. No, we were on platforms that looked over this little. It looked like a kind of a wash, but the wash.
Yeah, after a while it'd be like the
on the bottom. Yeah.
Blarney Stone where everybody's got to kiss it and rub it or whatever to
Ew.
wear it down. Yeah. It
Until
starts to wear
COVID
it
came
down.
along, now it has a spit guard on it.
Yeah. Well, you seen where people rub a rock in the same place all the time and it starts getting kind of
Like
smooth.
the bronze statue that has a shiny nose.
Yeah. Right.
I'm
That's
not
sick.
licking that either.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's give a quick shout out to our patrons. They're the ones who keep this show going. People like Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brad Miller. Look at that. He's got the title up there already. ChuckChat.com/Patreon. Good job.
Yeah. Thanks.
Brad Miller, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dan DeMancoyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, Jason Pollard, John Clifford, John Noble, Jorga Schrauen. Why did my just get a article drop down in my face? Where was I? Gary Lindros, Jason Pollard, John Clifford, John Noble, Jorga Schrauen, Crazy Joe, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, M. Mark Kilfoyle, thanks for upgrading this week, Mark. Appreciate it very
that.
much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, happy birthday, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, Steve Sylvain Racico, and Tim Cook. Boy, I've been smoother on that delivery.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to get your name into the birthday calendar, no, that's not the birthday calendar. That's the patrons. Starts out the same, chuckchatcut.com/something.
Yeah.
This one /Patreon. We would love it if you supported this for as little as $1 a show. You get your name read out. You get an extra episode. You get an RSS feed that has extra content and postcard. And if you get to the $5 level, a t-shirt once a year. Yay, we got to make another t-shirt now. Cool.
Oh, okay.
It's 2026. We got to start thinking about designs.
Hey, what's that? What's on that shirt you got there?
This one is my Christmas story one. It says it's a major award.
Oh, I see it now.
Logo.
Okay. All I could see was a little bit of the top of it. I didn't see that.
It's a major PITA. All right. chuckchat.com/Patreon. We already said that. Now we get to the part of the show where Craig and I tell you about things we've heard or watched or read or can't identify flying over our house in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I was going to ask that. What was that flying over my house?
Drone.
Drone. All right. So, you want me to go first?
Sure.
All right. So the first one is Roofman. Roofman is a Paramount Plus, and it is a story that is actually close to me. It happened where a guy, he started to rob places. He was very observant, and one of his friends pointed that out. And he was trying to make ends meet with his daughter, and and be a good dad by providing things. He couldn't give her presents at the at her birthday parties and stuff, and he was starting to feel down. So he thought, well, I'll use this kind of power of observation to my advantage. And he ended up getting caught, went to prison. He escaped out of prison and was on the run for, I think, a few months. I'm trying to remember how long it was, but he lived in a Toys R Us. He was famous for breaking in. He was breaking into places like McDonald's and stuff like that, but he was going through the roof. And
Hence the name Roofman.
yes, and everybody kept. I don't remember all that story. I mean, but it happened. And actually, I think the places
this is based on a true story.
yes, it is. And the places that I saw in the movie, I was like, I think I know that Toys R Us. I think I know, the mall that they were shooting in front of. It's all in that same spot in Pineville, North Carolina. Anyway, so I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was a little long, but it kind of kept things moving. But I wouldn't say it was super exciting, but it was interesting to watch. It's hard to explain, but I totally give this one. I started to give it a rating.
Go ahead.
I would say go for it. It's definitely worth watching. And Channing Tatum in there, and I think I remember seeing an interview with him. He actually got injured during this movie because one of the scenes, he's in the toy store and he's trying to clean himself in the bathroom, like almost like shower down in the sink, and he's soapy and everything. And a guy comes in, he runs, and there's a part where he trips and falls, and he said he hurt himself when that happened, but he's completely naked there for a few minutes in the toy store. But yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. And I don't remember the story itself, but I do remember them talking on the news how polite he was and nice of a guy he was, because he was trying to be a criminal, but he was nice about it. Like he put the people in a freezer in McDonald's, and he ended up giving the guy his own coat so he wouldn't freeze in the freezer.
Wow, that's thoughtful.
So definitely go check that out.
Yeah, I shot you in the leg, but here's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Okay, so the next one is this was a video on demand that Harrison wanted to watch, so we got it. It's called In Bruges. It's in Belgium. It's a place in Belgium. I know Jorga's gonna chide me for not saying it right. But it's about a hitman, and he botched a hit. He was supposed to. I'm not. I can't. I don't want to give it away because it breaks up the story. But there was a mistake, and the boss man sent them to Bruges in Belgium, and hilarity ensues from there. And so there was some funny parts to it, but there were some parts that, you know, not so funny, a little more on the drama side.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good, and it kept my attention the whole time. So it had Colin Farrell in it, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name. But yeah, it was pretty good. And it's only a couple bucks to rent it, so it's not a problem. This is about, and this is a film from 2008.
I had a few that I'm going to go through quickly. One is Identity on Netflix, older film.
Hmm.
Story about a few travelers that are caught in a rainstorm, and apparently there's a washout, so they can't go one way on the highway, and then there's a washout, and they can't go the other way on the highway. And it's sort of additive at first, like this lady is going down the highway in a convertible. She reaches behind her and opens up her suitcase, and some of her clothes fly out on the highway, one of which is a high heel shoe, a spike heel shoe, which
Right.
punctures a tire of a car later
Oh no!
with a guy and his wife and his kid. So the guy's out there changing the tire. The wife comes out and she's struck by a car, who is like a chauffeur driving around, somewhat washed up actress. And then they all end up at this hotel, and then people start dying off. Yeah, it's kind of like a Bates Motel, with these flat cabin type things.
Right.
And the first person to get killed is found with room number 10 key on them. You know, those old diamond plastic key
Yeah.
tags.
Right. Right. Plastic.
The next one is 9. The next one is 8. You can kind of see where this is going. There's also this police officer that comes into the hotel with a convict. He says, "I'm doing a convict transport."
Mhm.
It's an older film, so if I spoil anything, sorry. Uh, but they keep jumping back to this.
By the way, I didn't feel sincerity from you when you said
Yeah.
that.
I'll repeat it a number of times.
Yeah.
That's coming up. Uh, I enjoyed it from the standpoint that it kept you guessing, and then eventually you find out that you're inside the mind of this mental patient mass killer, and these are his personalities. Uh, so it's kind of fascinating. I thought it was an interesting story to tell. Also started watching Castle Rock. There's 2 seasons of this
Mhm.
based on a Stephen King novel, I guess.
Yep.
I got through season 1, found it kind of laborious. I get to the point, man. It's just like, our because they shifted gears about 3/4 of the way through. You're going through, here's Henry, and Henry had a traumatic childhood, and he can't remember, and his dad is dead, and now he's back in his hometown after being a lawyer in Texas. And everybody's like, "Oh, Henry's back, Henry's back," and bad things are happening. It must be Henry's fault. People are dying, and people are jumping off bridges. And uh, he says, "No, it's not my fault. I wasn't anywhere near this." And of course, they're also near, um, what's the Shawshank prison?
Oh.
The
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just drew a blank. The prison from Shawshank.
Minnesota Correctional Facility.
No, maybe that's the name of it, Shawshank Prison. Might have just answered that question. But that's right next door, and they find this kid in a cage in, like, this buried water tank, and he says he's been there for 27 years, but he hasn't aged a day. So it has this supernatural vibe about it. But then in one of the episodes, the kid who's been locked up is suddenly Henry, and the priest who is Henry's dad. It's like this alternate reality
Mhm.
where they flipped the good guy for the bad guy, or the crazy guy for the demonic guy, whatever it was. And it was tough to keep up, and it just felt like it was moving a little slow. And then I started watching season 2, and it takes place in the same place, but they shifted all the characters in the storyline. I went, I'm sorry, I just can't go on with this. I
Okay.
gave up. So I didn't watch season 2.
All right.
Um, I am done with Stranger Things season 5, except for, of course, the last episode, which comes out on New Year's Day or December
New Year's.
31st
Okay. Yeah.
in theaters first.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so nobody is done at this point, but I'm enjoying this. They're sort of making some course corrections on what they thought was going on and what we thought was going on. A little far-fetched that a high school kid can grasp his head around wormholes, but okay, whatever.
Hey, we watched TNG and well, in my high
No,
school.
he like read some scientist notes and went, "Oh my gosh." You know, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Okay, right.
But you know, it's a fun story and it's been fun watching the relationships build. We learned something new about Will that we didn't know before, and
Don't spoil
why.
it 'cause I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, why it was something that Vecna could prey upon. So
Okay.
Will finally flushes that out of his system. That's all I'm going to say. Uh, we're well into Severance season 2. We got like a 30-day trial of Apple TV again. So
Oh,
we're
yeah.
jamming through Severance and a couple other things as fast
Harrison
as we
loves
can.
that show. I've only seen a little bit of it.
We watched season 1 and enjoyed it very much. We actually had to go back and watch season 1 again because there were a lot of details in the recap that were
Mhm.
like, "What happened? Wait, where
Yeah.
did Petey go?
I
What?"
did like the idea of work life, home life, and the separation.
Yeah, you think that's a good idea until you watch this show.
Yeah. No, I know. No, I mean, there's a concept for the show. I thought it was an
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, that's where they started the whole thing is if you could leave work at work, totally leave work at work, you wouldn't even remember what happened there. They call those your innies who do the work, and
Mhm.
then your outies are outies, and the 2 don't even really know what the environment is from the other. There's
Well,
absolutely no cross-pollination of information.
see, that doesn't work for me because what about remote workers?
No, doesn't work. You have to go to the company and go down the magic elevator.
Yeah.
From an innie standpoint, you basically would punch out at the end of the day. You go into the elevator, and the next thing you know, you're coming down the elevator again. You never left. And
Right.
from the outie standpoint, you never went to work.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of a benefit. Lisa was saying, what would happen if you tried that with childbirth? You just kind of left childbirth. You'd say, well, that person would be perpetually pregnant and in labor.
Yeah, let's say, what if you
That
were
wouldn't be the life I would
right
choose.
before you left work, your water broke, and when you leave, it's like, oh wait, what's happening with me? I'm having a
Right.
baby.
So we've been enjoying that. And I want to throw out a shout out to a podcast called Everything Everywhere Daily. They just passed 2,000 episodes. The guy's name is Gary Arndt. He lives in Appleton, Wisconsin. He is a Green Bay Packers fan, and he will tell you that about every 25th show or so.
Yeah.
Great guy. His topics are very random. Spends about 12 to 15 minutes on each topic. It could be the Ho Chi Minh Trail one day, and it could be bubblegum the next day. I mean, it is all over the place, but it's fascinating stuff.
Oh,
I
he's
go, wow.
copying us.
No, he's a little more focused and has a lot more listeners and
Focused.
sponsors. But he
All
just passed the last few days, he's been saying, hey, I'm coming up on episode 2001, and I'm going to play listener comments. So if you want, you go to my website and you record a clip. So I recorded him a clip, and I said, congratulations. And
Call me when you get to 20 years.
we do get back to Appleton once in a while, and I said, when we do, I'll reach out to you and love to buy you a beverage of your choice.
Yeah.
You know, one guy writes it, he goes, it was an audio clip. He said, I'll send you real congratulations when you get to 20,000.
Yeah.
But he's been doing this every day, and you figure that's like almost 6 years worth of stuff. I think he started
Yeah,
in early
every
pandemic
day.
times. So
Hey,
good
when
for
you get him
him.
on the dog days of podcasting, huh?
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Although I can't hurt to ask.
You know what? I think I'll subscribe to that podcast and give it a shot.
Everything Everywhere Daily.
I'm gonna do
Great
it
show.
right now.
And,
do it right
and, you know,
now while
he
we're-
does his research. The production quality is really good. He did say, now that I'm beyond 2,000 shows, you may see a problem since about half of you are using Apple Podcasts. Their podcast client only accepts 2,000 episodes in the RSS feed. So I think
Wow.
it's the latest 2,000. He said, if you're looking for episode 1, you may not find it if you subscribe to
Well, wait a minute. I don't think you were. There's a. I guess in the past, I'm not sure about now, but there was a size limit for RSS fees. I mean, like physical size limit, not necessarily record number of records.
Yeah.
So that might be why.
He said Apple has a limit of 2,000. Now I checked Pocket Cast today, and I've got everything from 1 to 2001. So
Yeah, but even we only show the last 10. I mean, you can go the
you
website.
can configure it, and he says, I don't want to put a limit on that,
Okay.
but Apple
No,
does.
I'm not discounting. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
thought
it's
there was
not
a
on
limit.
his end. It's not something he's got control over at this
There
point.
was a size, and maybe that was an Apple thing back in the day. I don't know.
Okay. Quick geek library, a couple of things we threw in there. A 1980s internet. An ancient PDP-11 goes live on the web. It's a YouTube video we threw in. Also, another one from Hackaday, where a
Yeah.
guy is playing Doom on a receipt printer.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of skipped
I
forward.
did. It's hysterical.
Really? I should
Oh
go
my
back and watch
gosh.
the whole thing.
You know, it feels like pretty much every project I've done. Like
Oh.
you start going down this path and nothing works, and you got to stop and do research, and then he switches operating system and tries to load this driver, and he says, "This is the point in the project where I go, why am I doing this to myself?"
Yeah. I've
It's
asked
got
myself
great commentary. This thing must have taken a month to film because of all the builds and rebuilds and loads, and I mean, he was trying thumb drive after thumb drive. He was trying to just get the thing to print a test print, and he goes, it feeds paper, goes nothing, nothing, nothing. He says, maybe it's the paper. This is where my
Yeah.
this is where my career in fast food paid off. Watch
Yeah.
how fast I can switch the paper on this printer.
Yeah. Right.
Because he found this Epson thermal printer that actually had an Intel Atom processor based 500 gig drive computer under the base. And
Okay.
you wouldn't know it from the outside, but there it was. And it was really a strange beast because it was running a 32-bit version of Windows 7. He tried running Linux. He tried running Windows Vista. He tried running a whole bunch of other things. He says, it's a 64-bit processor. Why did they force it to 32-bit on this OS? And it would only run one specific driver, which had no graphics acceleration. And
Yeah.
he's trying to run like Doom at 4 frames per second. You know, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
And
Why am I
he
doing
said,
this to myself?
this is so slow. What was he running? It was one of the popular games. He said, I jumped out of the tram. He said, you can't do this on a regular machine that's running, 24 frames per second or better. But he said, nope. I jumped out of the tram. It's basically transporting you from one place in the world to
Yeah.
another place. And he jumped out. He says, now I'm sort of stuck. It's like stuck on the
Perfect story.
subway tracks going, now what do I do?
Yeah. Right.
It was really funny, really funny. It's about 50 minutes long, so prepare yourself. I watched it at 1.25. It was still very digestible. He finally gets to the end where he can play Doom, and he says, "I'm going to hide the screen," because he had a flat screen hooked up to it, and he's just watching it print like 2 frames per second on the thermal printer. But it's about 4 seconds behind. So he's walking around and goes, oh, wait, there's a sign that says no smoking area. I'm in the right spot.
Yeah. That's funny.
Here's a
And-
hallway. Let's go down that. And he goes into what was it? A different game. He says, let's see if I can blow up the casserole in the microwave. So it was really funny. Highly entertaining.
I'm gonna go back and watch it then. I wanted to see the actual play in the game, and it was funny. The paper was coming out. It was-
Yes, lots of paper.
yeah. It's like
And
seems-
even that, he had to fine tune it because if you had it set too dark, the darker you have, the hotter the printer got, and eventually it would thermal shutdown. So he mounts this server fan on the front of his printer, blowing air at it to get a little bit better thermal characteristics.
Yeah.
But then as the paper's coming out, it's getting sucked into the fan.
Oh no. Yeah. Right. That's right.
So then he reaches under the desk where it's supposed to be feeding, and he's holding it with one hand, kind of keeping tension on the printer while trying to play his game on the keyboard on there. He goes, I don't really think this is how this game was meant to be played.
Yeah. No. No, that's pretty funny.
It was very funny. I was laughing out loud several times in this just from the commentary that he made. He says, let's see, we've tried this BIOS setting. We tried this BIOS setting. It's time to smash my head on the keyboard. Wham! That's odd. Usually that works.
Yeah.
He made Sean from Action Retro look boring, and that's
Oh,
hard
yeah.
to do because Sean is
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. All right, that is our show for this time. We're going to wrap this up with a question of the week for you to consider for next time. We'll post this into the Discord server probably Monday morning and on Facebook in the future. In a future where robots do all the quote real work,
End quote.
what highly specific, strangely human job would you invent for yourself just to stay busy?
Dog pooper scooper.
I was thinking about writing AI viruses.
Writing here. Yeah. Get busted.
Game the system and put in weird results just so
Yeah.
it starts throwing things off and hallucinates again.
That's right.
All right, that's our question for you. Let's see what the crowd thinks. A couple of Patreon topics that we will talk about. We're going to record that right away and release it on Monday for our patrons. So if you want to do that, you can go over to patreon.com/Technorama podcast or chuckchat.com/Patreon. Well, I don't know why I gave the old link first. That brings us to the end. There's the music we know and love.
It's the end of
Thank
the
you,
year.
everybody, for watching live on the live stream or watching the recording later or listening to the recording later. We appreciate it very much. If you want to get in touch with us,
Merry
you can
Christmas.
do that via our listener line, our very, very quiet listener line.
Hint, hint.
It's a new year. Make a new resolution. Call us once in a while.
No, once a month.
We should just answer the phone. This is your mother. You haven't called in a while. Leave a message.
Chuck's Pizza.
707-530-2428. That's 707-530-chat. We'd love to hear from you. Or email us. You can do that too. Technorama@chuckchat.com. Or hang out with us on the Discord server, chuckchat.com/Discord. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Craig, for all the articles and research. Merry Christmas. Gary is on the line. Till next time, give us a binary high five. Till next year.
Till next year. 101.
Audio recording done. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. It has been fun. We will talk to you next year.
Yeah.
Hate it when that happens. All right. Ending the live stream in 3, 2, bye.